Ahoy there, crew! This is your captain speaking, and today we're working on more art fight attacks. Not long after finishing last week's video, I got attacked by Chocobirb, and she drew me. Just look at this cute piece. She titled it "Where's the Rum Gone?", which is so fitting. I know it's a pirate cliche, but I really do like rum. But this meant I had to take revenge. I have to get back at Chocobirb for that adorable piece. She has a bunch of fandom OCs up on her account. I strive to actually design and share mine, but that will have to wait for another day. But out of all the characters, of course, I had to draw her persona. Her design is really unique and interesting, much more tactical, I guess, than other personas I'd often see. She looks ready to go on a trip into the wilderness. You'll see that later. I added some motion blurred leaves into the background to hint at that. Another cool thing I noticed is the repetition of colors. Every color on her tail has its own little spot in her outfit, except for the red, which does a nice job of drawing attention to the face. I ended up drawing her in a very relaxed pose, looking out at the horizon. I'm pretty happy with the outcome. But here she is, a very chill and adventurous Chocobirb. Next, I wanted to draw a character that was a bit more simple, so I was looking for a cute animal character. I then stumbled upon OpalReflections character, Socks. I was initially planning to draw their persona, but Socks was too cute to pass up. Maybe in the future I can draw them. They're really sweet. I joined them for a stream last year. We drew this little piece of their Lorelei and my Rowan together. But for now, it's a cute artwork of Socks. Let me tell you a bit about the character first. They're a unicorn-rabbit hybrid. In their description, Opal wrote, kind of a rabbit, kind of a horse, but they are definitely a unicorn, which I just find very cute. Socks likes being pampered, pillows, and strawberries. They are very soft and never open their eyes. I knew I just had to draw Socks dreamily falling through some clouds. I made the ones that already popped through more ring-shaped. It was a little hard to get a nice blend of cartoony and it actually looking cloud-like. What ended up working well was just sizing up the brush I normally use for line art and drawing different sized ovals over each other until I was happy with the shape. The brush gave it some nice texture. I'm still surprised it actually worked so well. Since I don't really have my own way of drawing things so cartoony, I feel like it ended up looking very much like the reference, just another pose. I guess it's fine, it still came out very cute, but I would love to develop my more cartoony way of doing things. But here is Socks having a great time up in the clouds. I happened to get a wrench from Purdy Feathers, and can I just say this is so cool? She took my happy-go-lucky knight, Copper, and drew this, a piece with so much raw motion and drama. I love it. Of course, I had to get her back for her beautiful piece. So I picked another OC of hers, Sophia. She works at a skater shop and spends most of her free time with friends. She likes to visit abandoned places and go on night walks through the forest. Sometimes she brings Bee with her, but Bee often gets scared, so doesn't go too often. That checks out. Sophia definitely looks like the more calm, cool, and collected of the pair. I wanted to contrast that a little by drawing her in a more girly, lighthearted scene. I drew a portrait of her smelling a flower. Maybe Bee gave it to her, or maybe she just found it on a walk through the forest. Who knows? To add some more movement to the piece, I drew Sophia's hair swaying in the wind. I really love her hair. I think the purple parts also came out so good. But here she is. I think this piece ended up looking really nice in its simplicity. Not long after uploading my drawing of Sophia, I was done for the night. But miraculously, the next morning, Purdy Feathers had attacked me back with this majestic piece of Karina. Drawing her as a statue is so clever, and I love the little detail of her leg being broken. This is definitely a winner. I'd love to keep my first revenge chain going, but at this point I wanted to work on some other attacks and revenges, but I'll probably get back to her next week. If not, I'm happy letting her win this chain. Just popping in to remind you to like the video, which I assume you do if you made it this far, and subscribe to join our little pirate crew. At this point, I remembered that I made a hit list, and when I checked it again, I didn't expect to have any responses still, but I had exactly one. They said they don't have a character or medium preference, so I figured this was a good way to make my first traditional attack. I'm not planning to make too many of them this year, but I at least want to make a few. I drew their Meadowlark OC, Nevaya. I hope I'm saying that right. They were my favorite of the three. I like their outfit and their spiky little ponytail. Up next, I want you to look at this adorable piece of my Fursona, Liliana, which is a wrench from Axeru. He drew it on live over on his channel. Apparently, his chat kept saying that she looked worried. He's very nice. I highly recommend you check him out. Last year, I would have gone on without revenging too much, but this year I decided to take revenge as much as possible, especially when it comes to friends and mutuals. Checking out Axeru's other characters, I realized he finally added his Sona, the perfect target. I just had a vision of drawing a nice and simple portrait of him smiling, so I just had to draw that, you know. His hair was really interesting and fun to draw. There's so many layers in his hair, both literally and then in the colors, that I had to separate it into. It was probably my favorite part to render. On the other hand, the mouth was very fun to draw. I liked drawing the little fangs. But here he is. I know it's very simple and the symmetry tool did a lot of heavy lifting, but I think it came out very cute. I hope Axeru likes it. I decided to do another friendly fire before working on more revenges. I sketched this artwork out even before last week's video. The character I wanted to draw was Cassian, one of raviolifox's characters. Cassian prefers to keep to himself and is very much a night owl. He has a resting bitch face, which is very relatable to me. His favorite colors are dark blue and purple. I might have chosen him because of his hair, it's just so long and pretty. I decided to draw him his own scene. I drew him sitting on a windowsill. I just hoped it would be okay if I drew him smoking, but I just felt like it would suit his vibe. I had a fun time playing around with the lighting since I decided to add in two light sources, a warmer one coming from inside, and then a colder one being the moon. I feel like the colors ended up complementing each other nicely. But here is the final piece for Raviolifox. I'm really happy with how this came out. A few days after sending the attack off, Raviolifox took her revenge. She drew both me and my cat Kiwi. It's just so adorable. I'm happy someone finally drew her. Thank you so much, especially for drawing us together. At some point, Karmaia Stone had caught sight of me and turned me into a Slime Rancher slime. I'll always have a little bit of love for Slime Rancher in my heart, so I was very happy to receive it. I like the little detail of the Jolly Roger tied around it. Thank you so much. But of course, up next is the revenge. I definitely had to draw Sona. According to the description, she is a voidling, blending in with humans, occasionally making them laugh from her poor gaming on YouTube. Looks like she makes videos and streams on YouTube, so of course I had to check her out a bit. She's very energetic and I like her voice. She reminds me a little of how I think I'd act if I got comfortable with gaming content. She seems fun, you should check her out. I decided to make a little bit more of a moody piece for her. I just had this vision of her holding a light source, and after looking more at the tiny details in her design, I decided to make that light source a moon and some stars. She had a little moon dangling from her ear cuff, so that's how I made that connection. Other than that, I thought I would have some trouble drawing all the eyes, but I got them down pretty easily. But here she is, Karmaia Stone herself. This piece came out really pretty. Now, the last revenge I'll be showing you guys, I've been putting off for a bit because I kept getting distracted. My pronunciation is probably going to be way off, but elieasal had attacked me with this piece of Malachi. It was Malachi's first attack, so what an achievement. Even though he can't have much of a facial expression, the pose speaks wonders. As I was looking through their character pages, this drawing of their character Morgan caught my eye. Their hair is really pretty. I also actually love the color palette, so of course I decided to attack this version of Morgan. But before I talk about the art, of course I need to tell you about Morgan. They're a changeling that was raised by high elven nobles. They were strictly trained as part of being a noble heir. When their wild magic awakened, due to the volatile nature of their Fey bloodline, they literally started to fall apart. In the attempt to find a cure, they and their family learned of the swap. They were no longer wanted or able to receive help, so they left on a quest to find the true heir in the Feywilds. Very cool and a little bit traumatic backstory. I didn't have too much time left to work on attacks this week, so I made another portrait. I'll probably start up the full body attacks next week again. In the portrait, Morgan is looking off to the side, probably deep in thought. They have a lot to think about. I don't usually like this type of elf ear, but I think it really suits them nicely. And they might be warming up to me. But here they are. I hope I was able to do Morgan justice. But that's all for today, crew. Thanks so much to everyone who let me draw their characters and those who drew mine. I hope to see you all again for our next voyage. Bye bye!